Hi, church. It's Pastor CJ here. Figured we'd just do another quick COVID update. It's been a while since we've done one of these, so I thought we were about due because things are starting to heat up locally, and we've got some folks in local government that are predicting that we may experience some shutdowns again. And for us as a church, we did predict that was going to happen. So if you've been tracking with us since the regathering, you recall us talking about the potential for us to take forwards and backward steps through our regathering phase strategy. If you're not familiar with our regathering phase strategy, you can always get familiar by checking out the webpage, looking at some of the history. We've got some things mapped out there for as much as we could predict them for as unpredictable as things are regarding this COVID crisis. And just wanted to comfort you and say, we do have a plan and we're trying our best. And there's a lot of controversy over every potential scenario. And so just to give you a little bit of insight into that and kind of what your leadership is going through whenever we make decisions as regards this, how to respond to the government and the virus. I know one pastor who has said, I'm not even going to open up my church in 2020. We're not even going to decide when to open up until 2021. They've been closed since everything shut down in March. I know other pastors who have said, on the other end of the spectrum, they can't tell us what to do, and we're going to open up wide, and we're not going to impose any restrictions, and we're just going to accept whatever legal consequences come. And I know other pastors who have said, we're going to do things exactly the way the government prescribes, and no variance. We're just going to, whatever they say, that's exactly what we're going to do. And I know other pastors who have said, we're going to comply with the guidelines as best we can, and we may have to make some exceptions where God leads us. And for us, I think that's more where we're at. We're doing the best we can. I really believe that we're supposed to obey the laws of the land, and as Christians, submit to the governing authorities in our life. I don't think this virus is some big scam. We know pastors who have died of COVID. My wife has a coworker who died of COVID. I could go on, and so I believe it's real. I also believe that there comes a time where we have to put some things of the Lord ahead of things of the law, and so that's going to be pretty rare, and that's usually going to be in occasions where there's persecution of the church or just some very, very extreme scenarios, and so that's going to be a lot less often than some people would claim that it is happening now. And that's just our conviction. I think for every church it's going to be a little different, and so right now my approach has been to just offer y'all the choice. And it might not be 100% popular of an opinion, but the choice is yours. I've got a lot of you saying, we want church, we want community, we want the usual ministry services. And so for anybody who desires those things, we're making those things available. And for people who are uncomfortable, please do not feel pressured to regather or to participate in those things. How I thought never in a million years would I tell somebody, you don't need to come to church, but in this crazy season, really, if you're uncomfortable, don't feel pressured. If you're on my volunteer team and you just don't feel comfortable coming to church because maybe there's not enough room for everybody to socially distance the way the government wants, and there's going to be some people who come in without masks on, some for very good reasons. They are legitimately not supposed to wear a mask, and I could go on and on about the reasons for that. And then some people are just saying, I'm not going to wear a mask and you can't make me. And, I haven't taken the position of policing any of that because most of the people in our group are doing well by policing themselves and wearing masks. And, I don't think that it's stopping the spread of disease. Even the CDC has admitted that recently officially, but it's the law of the land. And so we want to follow the law, and putting a mask on is not going to oppress our Christian freedom. So you can do it. And there's no reason not to. But nevertheless, if coming to the church where these kinds of freedoms are being allowed or policies are not being enforced strictly, if that makes you uncomfortable, or if you're worried that you're going to get sick, or you're vulnerable, or maybe you're around vulnerable people, you don't want to take the virus home to them, then don't. It's okay. I again just want to express no pressure. We early on in the regathering encouraged people saying, if you are comfortable doing non-essential business, you should be comfortable coming to church and to participate in ministries, because we saw people who were engaging socially and recreationally, doing extracurricular activities, and using COVID as an excuse to not go to work. And so we figured that might end up applying to some people who are on the fringes of the church, saying, we're comfortable doing just about everything, but we're going to use this as an excuse not to go to church. So early on, we just kind of threw that out there once or twice, but we weren't drilling that in hard. And now that, COVID cases are skyrocketing again, we're not even saying that much. I'm just really wanting to clearly communicate. If you're uncomfortable, stay home. There's going to be people, there's going to be some who are wearing masks, there's going to be some who are not, there's going to be some people who are sitting next to each other, and there's going to be some distancing and some not. And, in these ministry services we're providing that, you just got to understand and make an informed decision and take the risks that you are comfortable taking. And if that means for one of my volunteer teams that we can't offer a ministry service, that's okay. If somebody who is a ministry leader or a team member, they say, I'm uncomfortable and I need to stay home, and that means we can't offer that ministry service, that's okay. God will either provide or he won't. And where he doesn't provide, we obviously don't need that. And it's okay in this season for us to offer less things if that's what it takes to keep everybody safe and everybody comfortable. So no pressure. We're going to continue to offer ministry services and gatherings, and we're going to be there for anybody who wants to, and we're not going to look at you funny if you don't want to, and we're just leaving the choice up to you, so that I'm not taking the decision away from you. I'm offering the things to the people who want them, and I'm not pushing anybody who doesn't. That's the best we can do, because for all those different approaches, the pastors that I mentioned, the guy who won't open, the guy who's open wide, the guy who this, the guy who that, they're all receiving scrutiny. They're all being criticized and condemned by someone in their group. So there's just no way to please 100% of the people with the decisions we make as we lead our organizations through the COVID crisis. So best I can do, I'm trying to leave the choice up to you. Offer the stuff that people want and not make anybody do anything, even if that means you're on our volunteer teams. And so please do, just let me know how you're feeling. And if there's anything I can do to care for you, I would love to do it. And we're going to get through this together. And if we have to shut down again, then we'll have to shut down again. And so pay close attention to your emails and your texts from us, because we'll do a lot of digital communicating if that happens. And we may have to say when that happens. It might happen, probably going to happen again. And so at that time, you're going to want to be paying very close attention to your emails and digital communications from us. But that's it. Wanted to keep it brief. Thank you very much for your service and your interest and your passion and your connection to the church family. And hope you stay safe. And I thank you again.